Hello everybody, Christian Jack with the gaffer, Bobby Sminiotis. Another big game Wednesday night against Vancouver Whitecaps in the Canadian Championship semi-final. You know I like to throw some numbers at you, Bobby, right?
Here we go.
Yeah. First one is number 4. And that's 4 times in the last 5 years your team has now made the semi-final, and the Whitecaps are going for 4 in a row. How interested is it for you as a coach that you now get the Whitecaps as a team to scout?
Yeah, I think as a club we always look for a new challenge and something new. You know, the season in the CPL is a big long grind. When you play everyone 4 times, you're constantly looking for these new nuances to look at your opponent, and this gives us a totally fresh and different look. And they're obviously a very good squad, so we usually look up to that as coaches, and the tactical challenge that comes in front of us, and our players enjoy it as well.
Next number for you is 10. Your team has played 10 MLS opponents in this competition in the past, obviously Toronto FC and CF Montreal, and you've been very successful against those. What have you learned as a group that you'll need to take into Wednesday's game?
I think the biggest thing is, you have to be tactically aware the whole time. Make sure that the game plan is as good as possible, and then the energy level of the players, especially here at Hamilton Stadium. You know, we've had some great results, some great nights here, playing in these types of games, in continental types of games. So there's a lot of experience around the group, but I think it's just being tactically on point and making sure that we bring the energy and our supporters bring the energy as well.
We've got another number for you, and that is 56. So since 2019, Forge have now played 56 games, either in the CPL playoffs, CONCACAF competitions, or in this Canadian Championship, by far and away more than any other team. What has that taught you, and what does that say about the success of this club in Hamilton?
I'm just doing the math too, and that's 28 times 2, so that's 2 full seasons above some teams in our league, and it's great. You want to play as much matches as possible, and each player, and we have quick turnarounds in these weeks, but they'd rather be playing games than training. So it's all the success to them as players that we've been able to do this over the years. The big thing is we use history as a little bit of our guide, but we always, no pun intended, forge forward. We keep on moving, and we want to keep on doing the best possible things we can do for our club and our city here.
11 is the next number. You're unbeaten in 11 games here in this competition inside this stadium. What does that say about what you feel like when you get to play at home against these teams, regardless of the opposition?
I think first and foremost, the comfort that we have in playing on this pitch. It's a big pitch for us, especially in league play and Canadian Championship. It gives us an ability to find our rhythm and do the right things that we need to do. And familiarity is great. And then the second thing is the energy that our crowd brings. And I know it'll be an excellent crowd tomorrow night at the match. And you always talk about the 12th man or the 12th person, and it truly makes a difference for our guys. We've felt it over the last 6.5 years, and we hope to feel it again tomorrow.
Last one for you, 21, unbeaten run, unbeaten in domestic play in 21 games. A great honour, obviously, and a fantastic view. I know you're not done, but what is different, Bobby, about Forge in 2025 compared to past seasons?
Yeah, it's sometimes tough to say because we've had an excellent group, and I keep on talking about how great our group is inside, and I think there's just a bigger commitment from everyone into what their role will be in the week, not what their role will be in the year, because that's changing from week to week. It's them really buying into the understanding that things will shift week to week. Tactically, we'll use different players, and each and every one of them is important to the team, and I think they fully bought into that, and you see that with how we start, how we bring in our substitutes, and the work rate to the end of the match, and that'll be important again for tomorrow night, so we're looking forward to the same.
Another big game interview between you and I. I always learn things, and I hope our audience does as well. Fascinating answers, so appreciate the honesty. Again, Wednesday night, Forge versus Vancouver Whitecaps, Canadian Championship semi-final, live here on One Soccer. Hello everybody, Christian Jack here with the skipper, Kyle Becker, ahead of another enormous game here in the Canadian Championship semi-final, Forge versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. Bex, you played in a lot of these. I'm going to throw some numbers at you and see what you think about this, but let's go with the number 4 first, your 4th semi-final in the last 5 years, and the Whitecaps trying to get 4 in a row. What does this semi-final mean to meet them?
It's exciting. Obviously, there's no denying they have quality up and down the squad. They've had a great season. They had a huge run in CONCACAF to start the year, and they've kicked on in the MLS. So it's going to be a tall task for sure, but we're excited for it. It's what you want in football, to continuously test yourself against new competition, and we haven't faced the Whitecaps yet, so we're looking forward to it.
The next number I have for you is 10. Forge have played 10 games against MLS teams in this competition in the past, just lost 3. What have you learned as a skipper and as a team when you played the likes of CF Montreal and TFC before that you need to take into Wednesday?
Yeah, I think anytime you're playing these games, there's obviously a heightened level of concentration. These things come down to those moments. We know it. We've seen it in CONCACAF. We've seen it in the Can Champ over the years. It comes down to those fine margins, those little details, the chances that you take early on in the game, the chances that you don't give up early in the game. Let yourself get a little bit of a momentum, a rhythm going, and just continue to build off that. We know they're going to have quality up and down it. We have to respect that, but we just have to go out, be excited for it. It's 90 minutes of football. Anything can happen.
The next number is 11. You're actually unbeaten in 11 games in this competition at home. When you think about these competitions that you played at home, what does this stadium mean, having your fans, and how comfortable are you here?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it since 2019, playing in that first round of CONCACAF. We'd have games here, and you know those midweek games under the lights, the fans come in, there's a little bit of a different atmosphere. It's special, you can feed off of that. New competition too, I think, plays a big role in it. And we just have a group of guys that are continuously trying to test themselves. And I think that's what it comes down to. You come out, you put your brand of football on the field, you try and play, you try and impose yourselves, and just see what can happen.
You mentioned under the lights. The next number I have for you is a staggering one. It's 56. Since Forge started in 2019, you played 56 games that are knockout football, either CPL playoffs, CONCACAF, or in the Canadian Championship. 57 will be tomorrow night when you think about that. That's an incredible stat. How fun is it to play in those games of real meaning?
I mean, that's a surreal number, first and foremost. I think looking back in how far we've come in 7 years, I think a lot of people would be a little flabbergasted if we heard that number and said this is where we'd be at in 2025. So extremely grateful, first and foremost. But I mean, you know, you've been around the game. There is a different buzz when you're playing under the lights midweek. There's a different atmosphere coming into any sort of stadium, and you know what's on the line. It's knockout football. There's just everything's heightened. It's exciting from the first whistle, and those are the moments that you live for when you're a kid. You're dreaming about doing this, and we're lucky to be a part of it.
Last one for you, 21. Unbeaten in 21 games in this year domestically is a remarkable number. What's different about Forge 2025 prior to the season that we've seen?
It seems like we've been able to organically kind of strip the ego, and collectively guys have just bought in. There's a different energy, I would say, that comes into training every day. There's a competitive level that's been heightened. We saw things growing early on in Mexico in that CONCACAF two-legged game against Monterrey. And when we came out of it, we knew that we had to push each other. And we've had guys who've been around. You've had the core of this group who've been here since 2019, so we can't take that for granted. We're able to pass on that message that the coaching staff wants. We're able to evolve with it, keep pushing guys, but it really just comes down to the willingness of guys to come in and work. It's as simple as that. It's these little cliche things that you know in sports. And right now we're doing it, so hopefully we can just keep it going.
And as a leader, you're playing a big part of that, my friend. Wednesday night, another one. We say it often, another big game here in Hamilton, 7 o'clock live on One Soccer.